The first time she said she hated me, I laughed. It slipped out of her mouth so effortlessly, like a reflex rather than a decision. We were standing in the kitchen of the apartment we could barely afford, the fluorescent light flickering above us like it couldn't stand witnessing what we were becoming. I hate you, she said, her voice low, steady, empty. I remember staring at her, waiting for a smile, a crack, a sign that it was one of those exaggerated arguments couples joke about later. But her eyes didn't move. They didn't soften. They didn't recognize me. Something inside me shifted. Not shattered. Not broken. Shifted. That same night, I got an email. It was from a client I had pitched months ago, a deal I thought had died quietly. They wanted in. Not just in. They wanted to invest big. Life-changing big. I read the number 3 times before my hands started shaking. In the silence of the bedroom, while she slept with her back turned to me, I whispered, "This changes everything." But it didn't, because when I told her the next morning, she barely looked up. "Good for you," she said flatly, stirring her coffee. No excitement, no pride, just distance. That was the first time I realized something terrifying. The more she pulled away, the more the world seemed to pull toward me. And I didn't know whether to chase her, or let her hate me into something greater. The deal closed within 2 weeks. Suddenly, I was someone people returned calls for. Someone meetings were rearranged for. My phone buzzed endlessly, opportunities, offers, invitations. And yet, at home, silence. She stopped asking me how my day was. Stopped sitting beside me on the couch. Stopped touching me entirely. We became strangers who shared walls. One evening, I walked into the living room holding a contract worth more than everything we owned combined. I expected, just this once, for her to react. "Look at this," I said, my voice unable to hide the excitement. She glanced at the paper, then at me. "Does it make you happy?" she asked. "Yes," I said quickly. She nodded. "Then why do you still look so empty?" The question hit harder than any insult. I didn't answer. Because I didn't know how to explain that every success felt like it was replacing something I was losing. And that something was her. That night, I stayed awake, watching her sleep. "Or pretend to." I whispered, "Why do you hate me?" Her eyes opened in the dark. "I don't hate you," she said quietly. There was a pause. "I hate what you've become." The words lingered long after she turned away again. And for the first time, I wondered, had I already changed? Before I even noticed. Money changes things, but not always the things you expect. Within months, we moved into a house so large it echoed. Glass walls, marble floors, silence that felt expensive and cold. I thought it would fix us. New environment, new beginning, but she seemed smaller in that house. More distant. One evening, we hosted a dinner. Important people, influential people. The kind who laughed a little too loudly and watched everything carefully. She wore a black dress that made the room quiet when she walked in. And yet, she didn't look at me once. Not when I introduced her. Not when they complimented her. Not even when someone joked, "You must be proud of your husband." She smiled politely. "He's good at what he does," she said. Nothing more. Later that night, after everyone left, I found her sitting alone on the staircase. "You embarrassed me," I said. She laughed softly, not amused, just tired. "Embarrassed you," she repeated. "You couldn't even pretend to support me." She looked at me then. Really looked. "I don't recognize you anymore," she said. "You talk like them. You look at people like they're stepping stones." "That's not true, isn't it?" she whispered. Silence fell between us again. Then she said something that stayed with me forever. "The more I lose you, the more the world seems to reward you." I froze, because I had been thinking the same thing. And suddenly, it didn't feel like a coincidence. The first major loss came disguised as a win. A competitor collapsed overnight. Their biggest contracts, redirected to me. People called it luck. I called it momentum. But she called it something else. "Do you ever wonder why this keeps happening?" she asked one night. "Because I work for it," I replied. She shook her head slowly. "No," she said. "It's like something is balancing the scale." I laughed it off. But deep down, a quiet unease began to grow. Because every time something incredible happened in my career, something broke between us. That same week, she stopped wearing her wedding ring. I noticed immediately. You forgot something, I said, pointing at her hand. She looked at it. No, she said softly. I didn't. The air shifted. Are you leaving me? I asked. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she stepped closer. I don't hate you because I want to, she said. I hate you because every day, you feel further away, and I don't know how to reach you anymore. Her voice cracked for the first time. I miss you. That should have been the moment everything changed. But instead, my phone rang. And I answered it. The deal was massive, bigger than anything before. It required travel, long nights, sacrifices. I told myself it was temporary. That once this was done, I'd fix everything. But distance has a way of becoming permanent. Calls became shorter. Messages became fewer. Her voice, colder. One night, from a hotel room thousands of miles away, I asked, "Are you okay?" She paused. "I don't think I love you anymore," she said. The words didn't explode. They sank, heavy, final, and strangely, at that exact moment, my inbox filled with confirmations. The deal had gone through. Millions. No, more than that. Enough to change generations. I stared at the screen, numb. Success, at the exact cost of her love. For the first time, I didn't feel powerful. I felt afraid, because it was no longer a coincidence. It was a pattern, a terrifying, undeniable pattern. I came home to an empty house. Her clothes were gone. Her books, her small things, the pieces of her that made the house feel alive, gone. Only one thing remained. A note. I tried. It read. That was it. No anger. No blame. Just an ending. I sank to the floor, the silence crushing me. And then my phone buzzed again. Another opportunity. Another expansion. Another step higher. I didn't pick it up. For the first time, I let it ring. Days passed. Then weeks. I stopped chasing deals. Stopped answering calls. Stopped moving forward. And something strange happened. Everything slowed down. Opportunities faded. Money stopped multiplying. It was like the world had been feeding off something, and now it was gone. I sat alone in that massive house, surrounded by everything I thought I wanted, and realized I had traded the only thing that ever mattered. I found her months later. Not because I searched, but because I finally stopped running. She was sitting in a small cafe, sunlight resting gently on her face. She looked peaceful, happier. Without me, I hesitated before approaching. "Hey," I said softly. She looked up, surprised, then calm. "Hi." We sat in silence for a moment. "I'm not that person anymore," I said. She smiled faintly. "You are," she replied. "But maybe you understand it now." I nodded. "I lost everything," I admitted. She looked at me carefully. "No," she said. "You gained everything you chose." The truth of it hurt more than anything else. "I'd trade it all," I whispered. She shook her head. "That's the thing," she said. "You already did." Tears filled my eyes. "Is there anything left for us?" She looked out the window. Then back at me. "I don't hate you anymore," she said. A pause. "But I don't love you either." And somehow, that hurt even more.